Well, hello there, my precious souls. I'm very awkward when it comes to filming things where you can't see my face, but I'm gonna try today because I thought it might be fun to show you guys my latest bullet journal setup because it has changed a lot since the last time that I filmed anything to do with my bullet journal. But before we go too much into this, I would like to actually go over some of the previous setups that I've used since my last video where I filmed talking about my bullet journal. So for most of the end of last year and the start of this year, I have been using this bullet journal right here. As you can see, I started last year. We had my monthly setups, which included title page, a page of monthly faves because I used to do my monthly favorite videos, and I had a monthly calendar set up, some YouTube stats, my booktube video plan, and then we got into my weekly setup, which was, I think this is the same setup that I used in my last video, a weekly setup with a section for each day here, and then these little sections where I would plan out my videos and my Instagram posts. And then we had this ongoing kind of to-do list that was separated into categories. General life, I had some YouTube video planning, and then I had some novelty co and novelty book club stuff down here. Until the end of the year, this was the setup that I used. That's October. There's a parking fine. So then things got really crazy around Christmas time when I was trying to run the book club and the tea company and other stuff at the same time. So then I added this new kind of system that I used where I split things into the different sort of things in my life that needed tasks doing: personal, YouTube, novelty co, and the book club, and wrote ongoing things that I needed to remember for each month at the start of the month, so that I could flick back to that page later on and remember what kind of ongoing projects I needed to focus on. And instead of using the really elaborate weekly setup, I ended up just using this kind of setup here. I would sort of basically just draw a line at the end of the day and write my to-do list for the next day. So this is January, where I'm still doing the same kind of setup with the separated monthly to-do lists and then just the continuous to-do lists as I went. At around this same time, I also added a whole bunch of other notebooks. This one is for the novelty company, so this is all my tea, product planning, and brainstorming and stuff that I was using. And I did the same thing for the novelty book club and also for my YouTube channel. And that was because I was just having a lot of trouble keeping track of the different projects that I wanted to try and achieve, and I felt like this was the only way that I could really compartmentalize the things that were going on in my brain so that I could think about each section separately. I don't regret doing that at all. I felt that it was really useful to be separating them out into the different books, but obviously it didn't last very long before it started getting really difficult to keep track of the different notebooks. If I wanted to sit down and plan what I needed to do for the day, I needed to look through every single notebook, so that wasn't really very useful at all, which is where my new bullet journal comes into play. So this is my latest bullet journal setup. This is my front page, which isn't very pretty, and I'm gonna do some collaging on it to make it a little bit nicer. This is my YouTube planning page, again with just I like to keep track and see how my channel grows each month, what's going on with my channel. As you can see, March is not a good month for me, but that's fine. So all of these pages are just random YouTube ideas that come into mind. And then we have the same thing for Novelty Co. So this is for the website, and this is for products, and this is my kind of yearly plan of different themes that I want to try and do for the year. So that's basically taking all of the stuff that was in those previous notebooks and adding them to this book instead. So they're just at the front, so I can always just flip back to those front pages to have a look at what's going on. And then we get into May, which is obviously the first month that I'm actually using this. So we still have my faves, except now instead of trying to draw it out, I've just been cutting squares and sticking them in. I was getting very sick of having to like count out the squares and measure them with a ruler. This is my monthly calendar. I'm actually going to print out a calendar for the month and stick it here, and then have a section below to write down any notes on things that are happening. And then I've got my YouTube plan for the month and my TBR list for the month, which is stuck like this so I can still write underneath it. This is my plan for the month for that, and then just a brain dump page. This is just compiling stuff from all of those separate notebooks into one, where I've got like personal, YouTube, novelty company, and then just a brain dump page before we get into my weekly setup. And this I am really happy with at the moment. As you can see, I haven't used it much, but it's a simplification and a combination of that original weekly setup that I used and my ongoing to-do list that I used. A section for each of the days of the week here that's got ruled lines on it, and that's an area area for me to write anything that is happening in each particular day of the week that I need to keep track of, any specific deadlines. And then basically I've just got a page for me to write everything that I need to do. And my favorite thing about it is these little bits of paper that you can see here. These are all separate to-do lists that I've created for different days that I've just stuck into the book that actually looks really pretty, but it's also really functional. I think this was on like Thursday. I wrote down the different teas that I needed to restock and was just using this to-do list for that day. And then again, this is my to-do list for today, which is just stuck in here. So even though they're just like random scraps of paper, all together they actually look kind of pretty, and it's got this nice kind of neutrals and brown and gold aesthetic. If you know, seen anything that I do, you will know that I'm very much a neutrals kind of girl, and I do stick to the neutrals with the exception of that like really delicate blush pink, which is my other kind of favorite color. The only final thing that I have to show you guys to do with this particular bullet journal setup is my little necessities bag. This is my little stationery bag. I think I've shared it with you guys in a previous video. There's like a selection of bookmarks and things in there. I've also, since I've started this bullet journal, added a whole bunch of other stationery that I can use for my bullet journaling. So I've got like little squares of paper that are ready for me to write to-do lists on that I can sticky tape in at any given moment. I've got these little bunnies and these little teacups as sticky notes, little coloring things. I think it would be really nice to add a coloring section for the week, like to tape it in so that I can do some coloring at a random point if I feel like it. I like this because it's all just random scraps of paper that I have found by rifling through my stationery drawers and baskets that are all in a pouch ready to go, so I don't need to think about it. I don't need to cut anything out. I don't need to prep anything. I just need to grab a piece of paper and a pen, write down whatever it is that's going on in my head, and then I can stick it into my book, and then it already looks pretty and it matches the kind of aesthetic. So there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed this little flip through of my latest bullet journal setup. I'm really happy with it. Not the front page. The front page is gross, but I'm really happy with the fact that it's so simple, but it actually looks quite lovely. I'm really excited for the fact that it has all these pages that combine everything that's going on in my life, and that it has all these sections up the front for me to just brain dump any inspirations and ideas that come to me. And yeah, let me know if you like this kind of video and if I should do more kind of bullet journal setups and flip throughs in the future. I would love to know if this is the kind of thing that you've liked. I will see you in some other video very shortly, I'm sure, and until then, as always, stay classic.
Sit there and count your little fingers. Unhappy little girl blue.